What's good, y'all? It's Lance from Sports Templates here with our newest Photoshop baseball uniform flat lay template. In today's video, I'll be taking you through this template with this Houston Apollos team concept. Our newest flat lay mockup is out now, and if you want to follow along, the link to the fonts used in the Photoshop library with the colors and images will be in the description. It's also where you can find the link to purchase the template itself, which can also be found on sportstemplates.net. But before we get started, I want to remind y'all to drop a like and subscribe to the channel for more tutorials just like this. Taking it back to the very beginning, when you first open the File Explorer and see your template, you will see your baseball flat lay template in both 4K and 8K. The difference being, the 4K version is smaller. It only has the front of the jersey, the hat, the pants, and our wooden bat, and it's more designed for your average social media post just to sort of show the designs that you create. Whereas the 8K version is more comprehensive. It has the entire breadth of our elements in our baseball template, the front and back of the jersey, the hats and helmets, pants, 2 types of bats, gloves, socks, everything. It's all here for you. Starting from the very beginning, when you first open the template, this is what you'll be greeted with. But before you open that, you'll actually see 2 different versions of the template within the download folder, an 8K version and a 4K version. The difference being the image size. When you open up the image size, you'll see in the 8K version that it's 8,000 by 8,000 pixels, and in the 4K version, it's only half of that. The difference in this is the size and the quality of the image when you zoom into it, allowing you to have a higher quality of image when you render it out if you so choose. In the layers panel, you'll actually see that there's over a dozen layer groups in this template, making it one of our most comprehensive ones yet. Top, to take you through the layers and all the features of the template, we'll start with our dynamic lighting layer. On, you'll see a directional light source appear in the top right of all of the different elements on the template. By clicking into the smart object, I double click on the layer thumbnail, see how to customize the lighting. Another channel mixing layer, which if you open your properties tab, which is if it's not open, you can go into Windows, Properties, and just click on it if it's unchecked, and place it wherever you want on your screen. But by looking at it, you'll see your red, green, and sliders. Adjusting these sliders here will customize the brightness of the template. Using the red and moving it to the right, you see, makes it brighter, or you can change the blue to make it dark. The hue saturation slider, taking our hue slider to the left will change the direction of the light, when moving it from the right to the left. Done, everything is set. We can either close out this document or just hit Control or Command S to save it. Come back into our main window and we'll see the lighting change. But for this tutorial, I'll leave it as default. Moving actually to the bottom in our backgrounds, we'll actually have 2 different styles of backgrounds to choose from. The first being this grass one, and the second being a clean background. You have options for color, including a gradient color, which double clicking the thumbnail will give you a gradient option menu, or hiding to get a singular background color. You could customize with the color picker. This tutorial, I'm going to stick with the grass background, which has a dark turf option, a green grass option, both of which can bring up the color menu to allow you to choose your own color of grass. Additionally, you can also put your own design on the grass as well. For example, if you wanted to have the Houston Apollos logo background on the grass. For this one too, I'm gonna leave it as is. For the layers, I'm going to take you through them one by one, customizing each one as we progress so we can see the layer come together in real time. Starting at the top with our Snapback Cap front, which also has an alternative option of a dad cap at the front. But I'm gonna stick with the Snapback Cap for this one. And by clicking into the layer, opening up the group, we'll see its own dynamic lighting layer. Each layer group does have its own lighting layer. For example, let's say you didn't want to render out the Snapback Cap, so you took it off. And you didn't want dynamic lighting to still show up where it should be. It's just, instead of using the general dynamic lighting layer, you can go into whatever is open, whatever is shown, you can go into its own dynamic lighting layer and customize it from there. But we're going to leave this unchecked. Turn this back on. At the top, this sticker, which is this sticker here on the brim of the hat. It's small, but it is customizable. If you were to click down into the layer group, the thumbnail, you see you can customize it completely as a flat mockup. Leave it as default and go into the front of the hat. It has its individual designs and its parts color. I'm actually not going to have a brim design, so I can go ahead and hide this one. It's called the hood design. You'll see it disappear, that little grid pattern, you'll see it disappear there. And then for the main design, double click into that. And I'm going to bring our Houston Apollos logo here in layers. And I'm just going to lower it down on the grid some. Hold shift, make sure I drag that up, make sure it's evenly. And then I'm going to hide our grid layer and our background layer. Do Control or Command W. Save this. See, sometimes you need to go back in. What to do often is actually drag the layer tab out. I can customize it without closing it. And just bring that up some, get it right where I want it, and then I can close it each time, making sure I hit Command S to save it so that it updates onto our main mockup. We got that into place. Next, you want to turn on our parts color menu. I'm going to activate all of these layers. Make sure you're all at the top with our stitches. To start with our color here, our dark blue color in the library. Actually, I'm gonna make that orange rather. I'm gonna make the brim orange. The threads, I'm going to do those orange as well. Just on the top, and make them blue. And then our left, right, and side panels, I'll make all blue as well. Then I'm gonna go back to our top stitches in the orange, just so that they have a little more visibility. I'm going to just darken this by staying all the way on the right, just bringing them down some. Same thing with our stitches on the top. Color is dark itself. Going to brighten this up some, just to give it a bit more visibility. And we've out overall color, that dark blue, since it's the main color. And close out this back cap front. Before I move on to the next layer, I'm actually going to save this template. Control Command Shift S, and I'm going to save it as a PSB. That's a large Photoshop document. Just want to do that just because we're working with a large file. Don't want to run into any problems with the file size. We can call this one Apollos Tutorial. Save that. Now we move on right to the right to our helmet. Looking into that group, we'll see have a glossy shell helmet by default. We can also do a matte helmet as well. I'm gonna stick with the glossy shell, kind of like that effect better. Going into the design of the shell, bringing it down, you can see both the helmet and the shell. What I'm gonna do is bring in our Houston Apollos logo from the library. Over some. Houston Apollos logo. I'm gonna use our align tools at the top of our toolbar. If you don't see it like this where it's highlighted, we're gonna hit the 3 dots and make sure align the canvas is selected. And then we're just gonna center this one. Hit Control or Command T to bring up the transform controls and drag the edges to make it bigger. That right into place. We're gonna hide the grid. We're gonna make our background our dark blue. What we want to do to add some more detail is bring in our star pattern from the libraries. Taking this in, drag it to the edges. In our layers panel, you want to adjust the layer style, change the screen so that just the white stars show up. Take the Control S, and there we go. Close this out and customize the rest of the helmet. But it's simple for the rest of this. We're just going to customize it to make it blue. Shift click on all 3 of these layers. Change the color to blue. The back of the helmet. The back of the hat rather. Which again can be the back of the snapback hat or the back of the dad cap, whichever you choose. Which I'll make this one same as the front. Clicking into it, which have our design, which we don't have on this template, just on the helmet. So we just want to work in the parts color, which we're gonna start. I'm just gonna make it all blue, which all the layers on, and then we start customizing the individual parts. Which we're going to make orange, which we're going to make a lighter blue, which threads are going to make orange, and everything else can stay as it is. Which we're going to close this and move into the front of the jersey. Top to bottom of this layer and take you through all the different parts. Embossed graphic here, which is going to be what says baseball, and the number is going to be the part that's kind of raised up on the jersey, the part that will usually be stitched on into an actual baseball jersey. I'm going to click into add our graphics here. Click on this red layer. That's going to be the front torso part of the uniform. Okay, starting into the template, just hit Control-0. You can hit Control or Command-0. That's how I do to make the window of the layer actually take up as much space as possible on my screen. So I kind of see the full perspective. I usually like to turn on the background layer at first to the color of the jersey. Ours is going to be orange. This just makes it easier to see instead of the checkered transparent background. So for this, there's actually two parts to our word mark. I'm going to hide the main text and the number. I'm going to drag in the first part of our word mark. Hang that here and just hit enter as it is. Do the same thing with the word mark back. Bring this one back behind it. Make sure these are aligned with each other. Alternatively, what you can do is hit both of these, make sure they're aligned to the selection. After selecting both of these, control clicking on both of these, just align them to each other, just like that. Then make sure you disable your background. Turn our sponsor logo to blue. It's out just so we can see in case we need to make any adjustments. Before I forget, you want to hide the word mark back. Cute. And save. We see it there. The reason we're hiding our word mark back is actually to use it to the design of the uniform, where the grid is. Go to the jersey front group here, down, open our pattern edges. I'm sorry, not our pattern edges, our torso group is where the base design of the uniform is. Click onto that design. I'm going to actually make orange and keep orange our grid layer. To copy our word mark back, in Control or Command Shift B, paste it in the exact same place, saving it, we get this effect. With both the logos together, I'm actually going to bring them down some. So, to select both of them here, bring them down, I'm going to hit Shift and the down arrow key on my keyboard and bring them down, let's say 6 or 7 inches. We do hide our word mark back. And Control Shift V, paste it here. Delete them. When this keeps our different parts of our word mark aligned, come back. The top ring in the logo is not coming so far on the collar. Aligned. Going through the rest of the jersey front group, we actually have preset pinstripes in this vertical stripes group. We can activate this layer and see our preset pinstripes across the jersey and the sleeves, but we won't be using them on this design. Then we have our pattern edges, which are the kind of piping that goes throughout the design. So if we can disable them or enable them, and that each part has multiple options, such as if we go to the stripes color in the back, well, these ones, and go for bigger ones. I'm going to make these black. Close that group, and for each one you have a smaller version and a larger version. Make all of the smaller ones black. Control clicking into each of them and choosing the black color out of our libraries menu. Torso part, outside panel, all enlarge. Back, we have an outside panel as well. out, we have our buttons, which I'm going to leave as a white color. Then we have our collar, which is up here. We have a pattern, which we can put here, or design rather. And we'll hide that. I'm just gonna make the collar back orange. I have these stripes down here, which we can customize to have a color. I would want these to be orange. You do that, the back of the word mark gets covered up. So instead of doing that, I'm going to cover them up manually so that these stars here are not showing, but this part of the back of the word mark is. Going down to our torso design, you see that it already has a layer mask selected. Change the colors of these three objects to the orange, shift clicking them and then choosing the orange out of the libraries. And I'm going to come and click on our layer mask. I'm going to hit the B key on the keyboard. This is going to bring up our brush. And then I'm going to right click to bring up the brush menu. Just select the default hard round brush, 100% hardness. And then we're going to make sure our default colors are here, white and black. Hit the X key because you're going to need the black color. And the X key just flips between your primary and secondary color. The X key is going to make the black the primary color. And then we're just going to click and drag to brush away all of these stars at the top without completely getting rid of the design in the back. Moving on from the collar, we have our sleeves. Coming over to the left sleeve, we have the base pattern on there. I'm just going to delete the grid in the background, and then I'm going to change our stripe black color. I'm going to bring this down to the bottom, hitting Control Command T, just dragging it to the bottom. What I want here, I'm going to save this and drag it out. Kind of want the stripe at the bottom to line up with this crease here in the uniform. I'm going to bring our panel up and then just drag this up, hitting Control S and apply till it about matches. Then Control C to copy that one. We're going to come into our right sleeve. Can delete this, and hide our background, and hit Control Shift, Command Shift B to paste that in the exact same place. Control W to save that, and we know our sleeves are lined up. We can come to our color, orange, and our layers, our library panel, and then we have the actual designs of the sleeves themselves. The designs on the sleeves, those embossed graphics, are going to be up here in the embossed graphics / numbers layer group. We're going to come down to our left and right sleeves, click on the left sleeve first. And for the left sleeves, we're actually going to use our Houston Apollos logo. And we're just going to line it up halfway here. Up with the sample logo here. Then we can delete that. Control W. We know it's in the right place because it's already aligned with what was already there. Then in our right sleeve, we're going to bring the American flag since this is modeled off of NASA's orange spacesuits. Line that up halfway. I'm going to drag that down. Rid of our placeholder logo and then Control W. That the front of the jersey is done. We can close this out, but a lot of this is going to serve as the base for the back of the jersey too. We don't have to worry about how the design is going to come together as much. We can kind of just go through parts. We can edges here, just changing all of these to black. We can sleeves. We can just copy our stripe that is still copied. We can closing everything else out. We can changing the color to orange. We can color of the jersey to orange as well. We can these out. We can organize on the torso. We can need a design. We can color. What we do need is our embossed graphics. We can the torso. We're gonna keep the player name as it is, but let's change this number, which has a stroke around it too. So you want to right click on this layer, come down, hit clear layer style, and then we're going to change this to the font, which is linked in the description, Raquel. We just want to make this a lot smaller. We can kind of line this up with the player name, maybe just a little bit bigger. We can change this to blue. clicking on the blue in the library and hiding our background. We're gonna save this without closing it just to see how it looks. We just wanna bring the number bring the number down just a little bit, and then that should be good. We can close this out. We can then go back to our right and left sleeves. Now for the right and left sleeves, just to keep continuity, you can open up the left sleeves on the back jersey and then go back into our jersey front. We can right sleeve on the front of the jersey and grab our American flag. We can copy that one and then remember Control or Command Shift plus V to paste it into place and then just drag it over. We can halfway. We can hide placeholder. Close that. Close both of those. And then in the jersey front, grab our Hollows logo. We can jersey front group and then back into the jersey back on our right sleeves. We can get that in place and then we can bring that over foot. We can zoom both of those out and then the back of the jersey is finished. We have our stirrups, which are right in the middle of the template. I'm gonna open this up and go straight into our design here. We're gonna do a simple design. We're gonna make the background black, the grid, and we're gonna hit U on our keyboard and we're just gonna drag out a little rectangle here. Probably gonna be black to start out with, so we just wanna click orange, and then with the layer selected, you wanna hold Alt or Option and just click and drag this down. Change this color to blue. Come back to our orange layer, and again, hold Alt or Option, drag this down until you see it's 54 pixels in between each one. If you're not seeing this pink grid here, these lines that appear as I'm moving around the template, then what you want to do is go into View, Show, Mark Guides. Pink lines that appear at different points, these keep you aligned, keeps you on point. You see, for me, what it does is it allows me to make sure the space in between all three of my stripes is even, and we're going to save that. Come back out. And the reason I say keep that one open is because we're going to move around a little bit just for ease. We're going to go into our socks layer. We have our stirrup layer open and go into our socks. Open this up, and then we have two sets of sock design layers, one for the top, one for the bottom sock. On top of that, we have two more, one for the top of the sock and one for the bottom of the sock. Going to disable the sock designs 2, that's the bottom of the socks, and then you're going to work in this top of the sock, and we're going to select all three of our stripes here, Control C, and then Control V. You see it doesn't go right in a place that the sock layer is a little different. So we're just going to Control T to open up our transform menu and bring that down to, let's say, this second grid line here. Make sure that our levels layer is back at the top. This keeps all our colors from being either too bright or too dark. And then disable those out as well. Oh, actually, probably should have kept that open. Do it on the other sock. I forgot there's two socks compared to the one stirrup. Top sock color and a bottom sock color. Just control click on both of those, making that black. Or sock design 1. And then pasting the stripes from the sock layer, the first one. Have that in place. Then we can close this out and go back to the rest of the jersey. Back after the stirrups, it was the jersey back, but we already did that, so we're going to go down into our pants here in the bottom left. Going to open these up. The pants design is going to be pretty simple. Overall color orange here. I'm into the design, or before you do that, excuse me, the pants as well as the jersey has its own set of pinstripes by default. Let the color up. We're going to click onto the pants design and we're going to make this orange. Clicked, make this orange. I'm going to bring this out, open this up. I want to do for the pants design to actually line this up in a way. We're going to open our parts color. We're going to keep those buttons white. We're going to make this belt strap. We're going to make this black. But we see it's not showing because of the design. So We'll go back into the paint design, hide the background layer, save it. So we can see the different parts. Then we're going to select these rest of these 2 blue layers, make them orange. Paint design, we're gonna go back into our shape tool with the U key, and I want to make a rectangle. Go into the stroke. I'm actually going to disable that with this white rectangle with the red slash, and then going to the fill, choose black. It'll be on your recently used colors because we've been clicking it. And we're going to bring it up to the top. Control T, drag it like that. Which is going to make it a lot smaller, and we'll see where it puts it. What I want to do for the black stripe is actually put it to line it up directly underneath belt buckle. This over, and just a little more using my arrow keys, and using a combination of hitting the arrow keys and repeatedly hitting Control S just to get a good picture of where it is. Then Control T, I'm just going to drag it down some. See, that wasn't enough. Actually, you can also just zoom in and just click and drag it as well. And just hitting Control S after every step to see exactly where I'm placing it. I want to kind of line it up to the top of the belt without being on the top of the actual belt strap. So now with our belt buckle, we have our stripe lined up. And there's our pants. After the pants, there's actually going to be 2 variations of bats here. You're going to have your metal bat and your wood bat. So I'm going to start with the metal bat. For this one, you have 2 different parts of it. You have your design, and then you have your back grip here. The back grip orange. For our design, we're going to haul it back on our star. We're going to make the background with the grid and drag in our star pattern. This one, you're actually going to want to hold shift, and you want to select the actual squares here on the outside, but kind of just hover around them. You get this curve here. Holding shift allows you to rotate this. I'm going to rotate it 90 degrees. Actually make it big. Cover up the entirety of the design. Then we're going to screen. Next part, I want to have the bat actually say Apollos. Hit T for our type tool. And if by default it's not on your Raquel font, you want to just go up to the top here or in your properties panel, and you'll see your font choice to change it to Raquel. I'm going to make this one say Apollos. Then Control T. And again, I'm going to rotate this one, not holding shift this time. I want this one to actually be on an angle. I'm going to make that bigger and rotate this one here. So we're going to need to actually move this down because the top part of the design is actually covered by the back grip. We're going to save that and see where it goes, and we see that we have our text set too big because it's getting covered by the back grip. Hit it some here and drag it down to make it more visible. Just a little more, probably a little under halfway, I would say. And I'm going to use the arrow key just to bring it down some. There you go, have that say Apollos. Close that one out. Then we have our wooden bat. So put a design on, but I'm not going to put a design on this one. We have a base wood color, just like this. This one, I'm going to make it just a little bit more orange since this team has more orange. A few more parts left. We actually have cleats, both a left and right cleat. We're going to keep them even. And now we're going to be really using our star pattern on the last few parts of this design. I'm going to bring this up, go up to the top, make sure our background is blue, and bring the star pattern in. I'm going to blend mode to screen, and then Control W, saving that. And our bottom one, I'm going to bring this back open. It's just so we can save this, or sorry, not save it, copy that one, bring it into here. It's a blue color, and having our design on both of these. Parts colored now. Now we have the different parts of the design. So for the tongue, I'm gonna go with orange. and you see that changing the colors on one part of the design is going to change the color on the other two. I mean, changing the color here is going to change it on both shoes, right? That's what I'm trying to say. But if you want further customization, like how you have with both the top and bottom design, what you can do if you want separate designs for each shoe, you can hit Control J to copy a design or copy a color here. So let's say I wanted the top tongue to be orange. I want the bottom one to be white. What I can do is with the tongue I just copied, I can make the bottom one in the layers panel white. And then on the top one in our layer mask here, same as we got rid of the part on the piping before, we can just get rid of the top color, or the bottom color rather. So make sure our hit B, make sure our brush is selected and black is the primary color, and just drag over the tongue. So now our top tongue is orange, but the bottom one is white. Do that. I want both our shoes to be the same, but you have the option to make each one unique if you'd like. For the laces, I'm going to do black. Perhaps here, I'm going to make orange. Part of this, I'm going to make blue. And for the heel, sole, and make these white. Or, I know the heel part is covered up by the design. See, the sole is going to be white. One thing you'll notice is that the part of the pattern here where the stars are is a little bright. So we're going to come back into our design. We're going to kind of desaturate this some. So we're going to go into this half circle here that's covered up, and we're going to click on it and add a hue saturation layer. And just saturation, bring this down some. This be this layer. And we'll see just so that that blue here isn't as bright. We might have to do this for the rest of these two. Come to our bottom one and just paste that in. Of a darker blue, more natural looking color on the shoe. And close that out now. Close out the cleats as well. In the socks, we move on to the gloves. These ones here. Again, two gloves here, a right and left one. So for the gloves, we have our base design and our strap design here. I'm going to disable the strap designs, as we're not going to use them here. But the gloves themselves are going to have our star pattern. So bring that in with the grid, make this a screen, do blue, close and save that, and repeat here. This one as well. Then for our parts color, to select everything here and just change it all to be that. Close out this and then move on to our regular glove, our big. Within the glove here, before we actually get into the design, you actually have the option to hide the design. And if you just want a traditional leather glove, then you select and turn on the layer here. There. It's going to make the entire design leather right here. And to have our pattern, we're going to have a specialty glove here. We're going to hide that, turn back on the design, and the star pattern back. We're going to rotate this one, holding shift and rotating that one. Bringing it up. Delete the grid and then make the background blue. Saving, and then just as I did before, I'm gonna take everything. It's gonna be in your borders layer here in the overall color. Look at orange as well. Looking back at the gloves as before with the shoes, you see that they are a little bright. Can come into our design, paste our hue and saturation layer. That out, and then into our multiple glove sets. On both the left and right glove design. The difference here between the blues. This I have a little more of a darker, more natural color. in the wrong ones. And then as we close those out, we'll see we're right back at our grass background layer, which if we back out now, we see our full Houston Apollos design with our hat, front and back, helmet, front and back of the jersey, stirrups, socks, pants, 2 bat variations, set of cleats, gloves, and a field. Now, if you made it this far in this tutorial, I want to thank you so much for watching and sticking along. And if you followed along, I want to thank you especially. If you haven't, you can still get the template down in the description below at sportstemplates.net, as well as our libraries and our fonts and all of our resources there. And if you are clicking onto this video as it's going live, you will see at sportstemplates.net our Black Friday sale is live, allowing you to get this template and all of our other ones at a discounted price. If you made it this far, I want to encourage you to drop a like and subscribe to get more tutorials whenever we release a new template, and I'll catch y'all in the next one.